fees on an ETH, they're up and down. Like I was going to do something before, and I went and looked, and it was like 80 grand. I'll wait. But normally, if you're patient, you can find times to do it. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what Hedron and Icosta and does on PulseChain, because there's not going to be that that barrier to doing stuff.
Do you think that there'll be interesting. I just thought about too, price difference on, you think there'll be parity on PulseChain, or what do you think between the ETH and PulseChain prices for Hedron and otherwise?
Well, all this happens over time, so I'm not going to say, well, at first it's going to pump, and then it's going to dip, and then blah blah blah. I just think over.
You'd be right, because that's what happens for everything always.
yeah, I guess, yeah. No, I think over the long term, the PulseChain becomes more valuable because it's cheaper it's a better user experience, it's cheaper, and so that's why I think that if it's a really good user experience and we can onboard lots of people, like I think that PulseChain over time is what people are going to use. And Ethereum, I mean, maybe the gas cost in Ethereum will go right down. It's hard to say what will happen over time, so I don't really know. But my guess is that PulseChain will accrue more value than Ethereum because it's cheaper and faster.
Is there any coin in the RH ecosystem community otherwise plays on Hex? Is there any coin that would do better on ETH, or do we all think PulseChain is going to be the winner as far as price performance and usability stuff goes?
No, I mean, no, because we're in the RH ecosystem. All you're talking about is Hex or Hedron, I suppose. Or Maxi.
Yeah, I meant like community projects as well. Interesting. Yeah, Maxi and I guess there's no mechanics on Pulse Dogecoin. There's just the meme aspect. So I guess that that doesn't quite matter as much. But I just wonder if there's any advantages Ethereum would have for any community projects that PulseChain just wouldn't be the best bet for.
I mean, I guess only in terms of at the moment, Ethereum has a much bigger amount of people that use it, and so therefore you'd be
interesting.
So playing to a bigger gallery, But who knows what happens over time? Yeah.
Yeah, it is easier to get the token. I mean, I'm sure you will have bridges and stuff, but Ethereum would be more frictionless. There's always friction, but it would be easier onboarding, I guess, at least in the beginning. Is that would be the case?
Only if we don't have Pulse on any exchanges, but it sounds like there will be Pulse on some exchanges, which makes me think others will take it on then after that. That's going to be, I mean, onboarding and offboarding into fiat is that's going to be where if it's easy to onboard into Ethereum, then people will use that. But because they'll have to learn extra things if they need to go onto Ethereum and then onto Pulse. But I don't think we'll have that problem. I think that we're going to be able to get Pulse at places. It sounds like people are already working on that, and whenever there's a need for something, people are going to feel that. And hexagons are pretty what do you call it? Entrepreneurial. They'll go out and create stuff and fix shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of different types of hexagons. Some are just keyboard warriors, and everyone's doing their own different thing. You know what I mean? But I think that
it's in their best interest to do so. It's highly motivational.
They're people who are wanting to build, and they're people who are who have a bit of cash to do stuff as well, because Hex has done so well. So and then as it goes better in the future, then other people will be cashed up to do more stuff for it. So it's just this petrol growing kind of thing.
Well, I think everyone's sad PulseChain delayed all this stuff, but actually I think that's even more bullish for PulseChain, because had we launched and there had been problems, that's not a bullish case for PulseChain, is it? So now that we're delayed, that makes you could make the case that it's even more bullish, because we know that the thing's going to be rock solid when it comes out.
Yeah, I've been fine in terms of it taking longer to come out. I have a lot. I mean, I have a lot.
You were in the 1%. You were in the 1%. Me and you and a few other people. I could care less. I'm not over leveraged, but a lot of people are pretty upset. They come out mid-May. But yeah, I'm definitely in that camp too. I care less. It's fine.
Yeah,
it'd be nice, but like whatever. I want to be right.
I mean, the one thing I tell onboards nowadays is like this: you got to think you're going to be holding this stuff for at least 4 years, and so don't like if you're buying anything, be ready for massive volatility, you know. And if you hold for longer than 4 years, you'll probably be fine.
But don't look at the price every day.
And don't ever be in the position where you're forced to sell.
Yeah,
that's I think the biggest thing that I've learned. Yeah. It's like sell when you, because if you're forced to sell, you'll get a shit price probably. So
I heard the analogy the other day. I thought was pretty good. When you think about when you're buying Hex, think about when you're buying a house. You don't try and sell the house the next week, do you? That's not how it works. You buy the house, maybe a few years later you want to flip it, or a few months later you want to flip it, but you don't look at the house price every day and say, "Oh, I'm gonna sell the house. The market's looking good." Like that's not what you do.